Okay, Planning and Zoning Commission, Monday, April 28th, 2025. We're going to call the meeting to order. It is 5:32. And if you would consider approval of the March 24 minutes.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes as written.
Les, can I get a second? I'll second. Mr. Wimberly, second. All in favor?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to go into the public hearing section. The first thing on the thing is conduct a public hearing regarding request to replat the property located at 1200 West Second, currently legally described as Mountain Heights Addition, Block 5, lots 1, 2, and 3, into 2 lots. The owner plans to place a mobile home on the north end of it. Anybody here to speak on that?
There.
Okay. So just need a first, second, third. Okay.
Just need to go on to the next one.
Okay. Number 3, the next thing is conduct a public hearing regarding amendment to the zoning ordinance to specify permissible residential use for recreation vehicles within the city of Breckenridge.
There was no one signed up to speak for that item either.
Okay. So the scheduled agenda items are,
We'll close the public hearing
okay,
and say what time it is.
sorry about that. Going to close the public hearing at 5:34. Okay, scheduled agenda items. Number 4 is consider and make recommendations on request to replat the property currently legally described as Mountain Heights Addition, Block 5, 1, 2, and 3 into 2 lots. The property owner plans to place mobile home on the north end of the lot.
So right now, commissioners, you can see that it's in 3 lots that are, or, north-south basically. So this is going to replat it into 2. You've got, and it will be half, like that. And you can show them and each of those lots are 12,000 square feet. So you'll have that existing mobile home stay there on that south part, and then the north part, they'll be placing a mobile home on there. And they will, I've talked to Christie, I mean, it does face, they'll have a pecan address, so she'll contact COG and get an address signed, but it will be facing pecan because it's on an alley. If you see that there.
That's an old CAD picture. They just clear it off on the north side.
Any questions? Les? Can I get a approval?
I make a motion to accept the proposed layout.
Can I get a second?
I second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Yes.
Okay. Fifth thing on the agenda is considered recommending cancellation of the approved replat of the property known as 105 North Road, right here next door. Legally described as lot 1, 2, and 3 on the east half of lot 4, block 7, originally town of Breckenridge. Property known as 317 West Down, legally described as lots 5, 6, and west half of lot 4, block 7, original town of Breckenridge.
So if you guys remember, you approved this replat a couple of months back. And what the plan was we were replatting it so that Steve Whitmire was the owner, and he was going to deed that over to the city so we could demolish that house and dispose of it in our monofill. And then we were just going to make a parking lot out of it, something like that. However, his plans have changed. He wants to cancel the replat, and this is legally the way that we have to do it. He has not recorded it over at the courthouse yet. But because you guys approved it and the city commissioners approved it, we need to take action to cancel that replat. And what is happening, basically Bear wants to use his existing shop that faces Walker as their service center. And then he's gonna build that business back on the back part.
What are these zoned?
I'm sorry?
What are these zoned?
It's appropriate zone.
C2, I think.
He's gonna put mainly 3 bays to pull cars and stuff in and change tires and stuff, and the rest is gonna be open, like to park stuff on the parking lot to change truck flats and tractor flats, stuff like that.
And number one, the only reason the city was doing that in the first place was to get that old house down, so it's been done, so.
Well, and if it did, so to your point, if it wasn't zoned correctly, which it is, then the next step would be for them to come and ask for rezoning, but they're not doing that at this point. I'm just explaining to you why it's being canceled. So really the issue tonight is just to take formal action to cancel that replat.
So for formal action, we need a vote.
Yes.
I need a first to cancel, item number 5.
I make a motion, we approve the cancellation.
Second. All in favor? Okay. Agenda item number 6, consider and make recommendations of ordinance 2025-07, amending chapter 22 of zoning of the Breckenridge Code of Ordinances.
Okay, so what you have before you today is right now, what you all, I'm giving you all the background information. We are making a recommendation to amend our zoning, and right now, the intention is not to allow for people to live in RVs on their residential lots. Whether it's a vacant lot or it is a single family dwelling, parked on their lot. But the only place, there's 2 places it's addressed in our ordinance is in the traffic ordinance. And then also it's not permitted in our youth start. So most cities do not allow that unless you have an area zoned for that, like the Buffalo Park, RV park out there behind Allsup's, that's zoned for that use. So what this update is going to do is just going to clarify and make clear what the intention of the ordinance is. So that people are not living in RVs on their residential lots with a single family dwelling or vacant.
So we're gonna revise ordinance number 25-00, that's the one that's on here.
It's actually 20, that there wasn't an ordinance number on there, but it's actually, I think.
It's amending.
I think it's, it's amending, the ordinance is actually 2507, it just didn't change on the one that's in your packet.
Yeah.
So it is 07.
And you can read that.
But yeah, that's the ordinance that's gonna be going.
And why are we approving this? This is gonna be just for, is this the zoning part? I mean, what we're doing. is zoning.
Because right now it's not in our zoning. So to change our zoning ordinance to clearly state that you cannot live in a recreational vehicle on a residential lot, you have to put it into our zoning ordinance.
So to approve, agenda item number 6, revising and putting it in, the zoning, I need a first and a second.
I make a motion, we approve it.
Okay, Les, second. I'll second. All in favor?
Yes.
One of the things I would just state, and you guys already know this, and we will be bringing, we went through the whole comprehensive plan development, right?
Yes.
And what is lacking is the update of the zoning in entirety. It's a big project. Staff has been working with our consultant on that. We're gonna bring that back to you. We're almost at a point where we can bring it back to you guys for consideration, but before I did that, if you remember, one of the things I wanted to do was take it to the public. And let them, I'm gonna take it to the public twice. We're gonna have a meeting where, we're talking about our strategic plan. And we'll have that as an update for people, but then we will have a standalone meeting on the overall zoning. That's coming down the pipe before we bring it to you. So once we bring it to you, you'll have the feedback, from our residents on all of that. And we just want them to be more aware of it, before it comes to you. We will have to do a mass mailing. I mean, everybody, you know, more than likely will get a letter. And so before they get that letter, we want to have a public meeting so that they can come. We've got our consultants there, we've got staff there, they can, you know, ask questions about how their property may be impacted. There's really not major changes, it's just, I mean, there are some changes, but there's nothing major, in the update, I will say that. We're just kind of fine tuning some things, you know, we're creating the downtown district, which we have talked about, our ordinance is not very clear. I mean, like, if you start reading our zoning ordinance, it's like, this zoning classification is A, B, C. And then the next one, well, it's everything in that one and then this. And then the next one, well, it's everything in that one and that one and then this. And they're not clearly codified in our zoning ordinance what they are. Plus, we're gonna rename them to where it makes more sense. Single family, 7.5, so that's gonna be single family lots that are 7,500 square feet.
The overlays are not gonna change, and I don't remember from that meeting. The overlays like the city downtown overlay that we currently have.
Well, we talked about whether it be an overlay or a district itself, so we're just gonna do a district which would allow for more. It's gonna be clear and allow for more flexibility for the downtown area.
Flexibility in what aspect, may I ask?
Huh?
Flexibility in what aspect, may I ask?
Well, I say flexibility, it's just, I'm gonna say it's gonna clarify it, because when you have an overlay district, it's kind of what I just said. It's zoning except for this
Okay.
in an overlay district, where a downtown district, it'll just say, this is what it is. It'll actually be more strict.
Okay.
And we'll go into that, you know, before it gets voted on. I mean, that we'll take it to the public, we'll take it to you guys and, you know, all of that. But all that to say is like, we are gonna clarify the RV recreation where they can be.
Which I think is good.
Yeah.
And we already voted on that, so.
Okay, well, I've got a question, just in general.
Well,
Okay.
depending on did it have to do with one of the agenda items? Cause if it doesn't,
On this ordinance.
okay,
On
just, yeah, as long as it
On
has to
this
do with
one,
one of the agenda
about the
items.
RV.
Okay.
Anyway, okay, so we're not, people are not allowed to stay in those RVs more than 24 hours. Is that what I'm reading?
They're not allowed to now.
I think they're not allowed to park them by their house for more than 24
More
hours.
24 hours, front
That's what
driveway, front yard, side yard, or anything. It's actually supposed to be parked in the rear of the yard if you're keeping it at your house.
Okay,
But what we're having is they're parking in the rear of the yard and then water's being hooked up to them or electricity's being hooked up to them and people are actually living in the backyard, not in the home too.
yeah, because reading this, it says, people are not allowed to live in recreational vehicles. With RV. Storage, parking, or maintain a driveway, side yard, front yard. For a continuous period of more than 24 hours.
That's,
But their backyard, sir, is where the backyard is where you can legally park it for more than 24 hours. And that's where the update to this is to, when they're getting the backyard, it's not allowed to be hooked up to be lived in with electricity, water and things like that.
Okay.
I can pull up.
I'm gonna pull up, okay, I'm gonna have to pull up our ordinance.
Information.
Right now, in our traffic, it's in our traffic ordinance, which is chapter 20. She's gonna pull it up,
Yes,
and it's already in there that they can't be there for more than 24 hours.
okay. Why,
Is that what the question was?
no, the question, and if I'm reading it incorrect, please tell me.
Where are you
But it's,
at?
back on the information.
Okay, yeah, sorry. This is in chapter 20, she's gonna pull it up.
Okay,
51, 20-51. Not far enough and too far.
There's 54, there's 52, they're right there.
So this is in the, again, this is in the traffic. If you look to the side, it's chapter 20, under traffic.
Okay.
Not in zoning.
Okay, and it says parking and storage of a recreational vehicle. A person in a residentially zoned area shall not place, store, park, or maintain on his driveway, side yard, or front yard for a continuous period in excess of 24 hours a recreational vehicle, boat trailer, camper, dismantled, or inoperative truck or motor vehicle. So it's already, it is all, you can't do that.
Right, well, that's saying you can now park it there, but what I'm reading where it says background information is talking about. People are not allowed to live in recreational vehicles.
Right.
Further down the way it goes, for more than 24 hours.
No, okay, so the intention of living, you can't live in an RV vehicle on your property.
Continue.
But right now, our zoning ordinance doesn't clearly state that, even though in the use chart, our zoning ordinance says what you can do, right? In each zoning area, and it also has a use chart. So that it lists all these uses and where it can occur within the city. And so we don't have anywhere that you can live in an RV in a residential district.
Okay.
And so, what I will say is, this is very common. Most cities are like this. I would almost say all cities do not allow you to live in RV in single family
Right, yeah.
residential, right? Because it's for single family residential. Even a mobile home is a different zoning classification. So we just haven't had a full-time code enforcement officer, and we haven't had the staff really to clarify this. And so all this is doing is just making it clear what the expectation is,
Okay, yeah,
so that it can, I mean, it can be enforced as it is, but we want to make it clear.
okay.
Or make your job a lot easier.
Did that help? And I'm
Yeah.
sorry if this background information is
Yeah.
confusing, but yeah, it's supposed to help, but.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah,
We good?
yes.
Okay, it is currently 5:50 PM. We're gonna adjourn. I certify this notice. We're gonna adjourn.
Okay.
Okay.